right. Where is it? Okay. I'm going to share some caching stuff. I think we talked about this cube project a couple weeks ago at a Metric Monday. This is kind of a first pass at that. So let's imagine we have, excuse me, query view, inventory items. We know it doesn't change too often. We don't really want to hit the database every time that we're exploring this view. Let's see. So as you can see, clicking on it, new columns, it's going to be a cache miss. Wait, yes, okay. Getting cache misses as I explore this view. But I know it's like pretty simple data and something that doesn't change too much. So I'll come into the workbook model, add this new param called cube. Right now it's just a Boolean flag, set it to true. Go back to my workbook, do a little refresh. And then let's pull everything in to run without cache. So now we have a split plan where it's going to run the underlying query to pull in all the rows it needs. And then queries on top of that is going to hit the caching layer. Is it running? What's going on? Yeah, okay. So it's a very large cache. And right now, like the limit is up to 1 million rows. And this is our like e-commerce Postgres test that has a ton of data. So it does take a while the first run. I'm hoping it's actually doing it. And I can apply a limit if this isn't going to work. It's interesting.
PJ, while that's
It's
running,
not doing it. Yeah.
Can you do multiples of these at the same time? And is it the browser cache or is it our server side?
This is server cache. And yeah, you can have multiple, like the idea is that you would have multiple query view caches, and then you'd have a query or a cubed topic. And if you have a cubed topic, every view that's used in that topic also needs to be in a cube so that you're not escaping that context of like the requery cache.
Okay.
This is not working. Try one more time.
Maybe just click
Okay,
query
maybe
and
it did.
rerun.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, all right. So these are all like, they're not cached in our normal requery cache. This is like the cube. So I'm selecting fields that aren't actually, or that haven't been selected yet. Cool, and they're cache hits. And you can like do what you'd expect, do aggregates and stuff. But these are all like requery server-side cache hits now. And that's kind of the starting point, and we can add some more stuff, and you can have like configurable cubes with different caching policies.
Yeah,
like
how does this intersect with cache expiration or refresh and whatnot?
Right now it's just the defaults. So it listens to like the cache policies that you have on the model. It doesn't quite yet have its like specific cube level requerying cache policies. So it's just going to be a default cache. It's essentially just like a really big cache that operates on the defaults, but with a split plan. So when you do clear from cache, it will run that query view first, and then do whatever actual user query you're running.
Are there any types of fields that
and then it
will
also
be able to get?
so the problem right now
like
is
a
like
normal topic. Sorry.
Oh no, it's like a dialect problem because it is running on DuckDB right now. It's if you add additional fields that aren't in the query view itself, that will need to be in DuckDB because it's running on the server side cache.
Gotcha. So like if you wrote
That
a
answers-
new field with SQL,
Whoops.
it would almost demand DuckDB SQL, or like walk me through just I want to concatenate first and last name on the users table.
Right. So that would be, you would have to do a DuckDB SQL query if you do it as a new dimension.
Yep.
But if you push it into the query view, that would be the dialect SQL.
I see. So you're basically you're pulling in all of the effectively like sort of like the materialized dimensions in effect into the cube, and then anything on top of that would be in DuckDB sort of dialect specific.
Yeah, that's how it works now. But I mean,
Yeah.
potentially we could do like dialect translation, but that might be pretty challenging. Maybe it could work because we do a lot of when we do the requery, we do a lot of like translation for things that we can push into the DuckDB layer. But there's a lot that we could do there.
This is super exciting. Very, very cool.
Yeah,
DJ,
really.
did you? Oh, sorry, Conrad. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's exciting, and I love that it's going to push us into actually doing some more stuff with our cache policies. So things like proactively checking cache expirations, and you know, it'll force us to do some things that'll push us into some directions that aren't just in the cubing scope, but also in like scheduled sends and stuff along those lines that can be really, I think this is awesome. It fits in with a bigger picture, and I love it.
Yeah. In the vein of that, too, actually, just maybe one more question, which is definitely giving a mouse a cookie and asking for more. Will we be able to specify when or where to put the cube, like in data warehouse, in application server cache, and even like user browser cache, that sort of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to do that. If we do like a push down, then
Yeah.
it's getting close to PDTs,
Yeah.
or just creating materialized views. So like the underlying like scheduling of that is something that would need to be built out, because now we just have like, oh, if it's not in cache, pull it into cache. But then we need to have like a process that would wake up and check internal table to like rerun those materialized views. But I don't see. I mean, it's definitely possible. We just need to build out that architecture.
Awesome.
Where is this now? Like, is
This
it? Can we put it live somewhere?
It is, yeah. So cube, like I just like the cube param. That's just the flag, is live in production. The limit is 1 million rows, but there's an environment variable that we can set if it's like too much. If it ends up being like too many, or we're processing too much data on.
Okay,
DuckDB
so this
or
is
something.
literally already out there. Okay.
Is
Yeah.
is it feature flagged or just the param is available?
The param's available, yeah. So we can set a feature flag if we need to, because it's all on the call-in services.
Cool.
TJ, did you try to do anything crazy with it from a size perspective? Like, did you test or at least like get a sense of how it holds up with 100 million rows?
Not with 100 million. I set like the hard limit at 1 million. I think because the initial query to pull into cache was taking quite a long time. So like 1 million seems to work. And it's just that you have to make sure that you set that cache. And the way that I think we were talking about it in the office is that like somebody would just schedule something in the middle of the night. They would do that split query plan and then pull everything in. And so the rest of the day, as long as your cache policy is long enough. So there's definitely a lot of things to figure out. So
could we, unrelated question, I'm thinking about a scenario where somebody wants to cache different time cuts of the same view. Like, could we think of like, could there be accelerators like that where we essentially like cache, the daily roll up, the weekly roll up, the yearly roll up, and make that very transparent and seamless for the user to manage?
Yeah, like the aggregate awareness.
Yeah,
tables.
essentially just sort of like auto generating those and caching them.
Sure.
And I guess arbitrary dimensions.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
Okay,
that seems doable.
TJ, does after 1 million, is it just ignored?
Yeah. So this is like, it's out there, but I really don't want people to use it. And it's limited because you really can't like join to it. Like the join would need to happen in the query view. So as soon as somebody starts actually like playing around with it, they're going to hit like validation errors that you can't join or use it outside of the one context that you should be using it, which is like just querying that one view.
Yep. Is there if you hit clear cache and refresh, will you bust through this?
Yeah. So it'll like reset that.
It'll rebuild the cube though. So there's effectively no way to have it run an in-database query when you have a cube set up.
Yeah.
Okay. We might want to think about some sort of hook that allows for that.
I mean, the hook, it's an advanced tag, right? The hook would be you go to the workbook model and you turn it off, right? Like
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
that's
Sure.
advanced action. Like you don't want any random user to just bust through. So I don't know that.
Yeah, that's fair. And maybe that's enough.
It probably begs for a UI toggle.
Yeah, we
to
could
turn it
just-
on and off anyway.
The issue there, Steven, is like then if you turn it back on and the cube was in a bad state, you can't really like live test it. Or I just want to make sure it's debuggable.
Okay.